Hello, hello. Good morning. How are you? Tabara, can you hear me? Good. Okay, we're going to get started here. Looks like it's just about that time. Welcome to week 3 live lecture 2. How are you doing today? Oh no, you have a headache. That's not good. Drink lots of water. I woke up with one actually, but it was short-lived. I think it was more of like a dehydration. Oh, okay. Well, get some rest. I know headaches can be, I used to get migraines a lot. I don't get them anymore, but I had them for about 10 years. Those are like the worst. Well, hopefully you'll feel better here soon. Let's get started here. So this might be kind of a shorter lecture because I pretty much don't have too much to go over. We're going to go over some things, and then I'm going to open it up for you guys, see if anybody else comes in here, if you want to share anything that you're working on. So it might not be the full 2 hours, just to kind of give you a heads up here. All right, so let's go ahead and get forward here. Hopefully I'm not, yeah, maybe that'll be good for your headache, a shorter lecture. All right, let's get started here. Just a, kind of a little reminder here, just make sure you're getting your work in. If you have late work that you have not submitted, I think I'm pretty much up to date on everybody who's submitted late work so far, unless you did it this morning. I went through very late last night, all of the late submissions. Make sure you're getting that in. I want all of you to do really well in this class. So make sure you're getting in any late work from week 2 in as soon as possible. Week 3 work is due Saturday before midnight, and your discussion post is, your initial one is due today, correct? Today's Wednesday, correct? Yes. I don't know why I keep thinking it's Thursday. Okay. Yes. So, yeah, make sure you're posting that initial post and then respond to your peers on separate days. Okay. So, sorry about that. I was up pretty late. I did get good sleep though, so that was good. The last time that we met up, actually, this should say week 3 live lecture overview. It should say week 3. Sorry about that. On Monday, we looked at student examples. I'm all over the place today, aren't I? Student examples. So we took a look at that. If you missed that lecture on Monday, listen to the recording. I did post the slides too as well in announcements, so check that out. We did a little quick video and quiz, and we went over your discussion 3 and your assignment 3. We kind of talked about there. So any questions right now before we get started here? Okay. So today we're going to just do a little review of your assessment. We're also going to look at logo evolution of 25 famous brands. And then we're going to take a look at interesting facts behind logos. And then I'll also kind of review a little bit more of the assignment 3 that we kind of ended with, because I didn't quite show the beginning parts of your design rough. So I'll just kind of quickly go over that as well. All right, so don't forget your assessment 3 is based on your media, readings, and videos. So if you go to your assessment 3 in the course, you'll see that this is going to be covering the learning objectives covered, or differentiate between effective and ineffective logo designs. There are 15 questions and there's no time limit, and it's worth 50 points. So if you go to the course media, and we kind of reviewed this on Monday, go down to week 3. This particular article here, your required reading, is definitely going to be on the quiz. So definitely take a look at your resources in week 3. This is specifically the objective that is going to be reviewed in your assessment. Okay. I cannot go over the questions. I used to do that, just say, hey, study for this, study for that, but they won't let us do that anymore. So They're kind of making it so that you guys have to, you know, since there's no time limit to your quiz, you have no pressure. You can kind of dig around for the answers too. But that's pretty much what it's going to be based upon. All right, so make sure you're taking that. It's a 50-point quiz, so you know, definitely take it. You know, I would not skip that quiz. And just kind of an FYI, I had a student last week who decided, I don't know if they took the quiz, obviously they took the quiz later than the due date. It's going to lock you out after Saturday at midnight. And I'm unable to unlock that, so you make sure you get that in. More flexible with some projects if you have issues going on getting those submitted. That's a different story. But the quizzes, it'll just completely lock you out. So make sure you're getting that in and taking it on during the due date. All right, so I wanted to share this. There's actually, if you never heard about Shermoff and Geismeyer and Haviv, these two were on that video that I showed on Monday. They have a really interesting website here. Let me pull this up. I don't have the website pulled up right now, so let me go ahead. I thought I could click on that and actually do that, but it's not letting me. Pretty well-known ad agency here. If you haven't checked out their website, this is their website here. Zoom out so you can see a little bit. They do a lot of brand design for a lot of recognizable businesses, companies. There's my chat area here. I'm going to post the link. There you go. So you can see here they did the NBC logo, US Open, Showtime, Chase Bank, National Geographic, Animal Planet. I had a student, they actually just redid that one. I had a student in here, I believe Adam sent me an email about the Animal Planet logo and how different it looks. So definitely check that out if you have not, and kind of make your own opinion on that, whether you think that's it's a complete redesign. So if you click on these, you'll see kind of the story behind each brand and kind of read about what the new visual is and how they came to it. I don't know if they have the original logo in here. Steve Irwin's pack there. It's pretty cool just to see all the very recognizable marks that they have. The Showtime logo looks like the one made for Mac. Oh, let me go back here. Showtime. Oh, the Showtime logo, yeah. With the SHO kind of the bleeding out. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so it's very simple. Look at this one on the mic. See how it kind of is changes on different, and that, you know, definitely that can be something that you can do because everything's kind of applied differently. But they did some really great, very simple, here's mobile, recognizable logos here that you can be inspired by. See how simple these are? The simple ones definitely are more recognizable as a brand. So, you know, obviously you wouldn't be able to use an icon for something that's not as recognizable, like a startup company. But, you know, that's the idea of getting it to that point. But very cool website to check out. If you don't know who they are, they're very well known in the ad agency world, and they do great brand identity. Yep. Development and concepts. All right, you are the only one in here, so I'm going to pick on you. Did you ever take the logo quiz before? Maybe you probably have taken this, I don't know, through Facebook or other social media. But we're going to take 5 minutes here and see what you score here. I'm going to give you the link. Go ahead, click on that and do your little quiz. It should look like this. It's just going to quiz you on how much, maybe to see if you know what these logo marks are. So here's the example. Go ahead and take that and let me know what your score is. Now I'll give you 5 minutes here. Welcome, Christina. We're taking the logo quiz. So go ahead, take 5 minutes, click on that link and take that logo quiz, see what you get here. I'm actually going to take it too because I think this has changed since I last looked at this. You missed a whole bunch. I'm just kidding. Go ahead and take that logo quiz and let me know what you score. Just kind of interested. I'm actually interested in what I would score because a lot of these have changed, like I said. Okay, Tabor, you got 70%. Good job. Some of those were pretty tricky. I actually got, I'll show you my score here. I didn't get a perfect either. I got a 95. There was one tricky one in there for me. The Konomi, I thought was electronic arts. Not too bad though. It's kind of fun. It's fun to see how many you know. We'll wait for Christina here and see what she got. She's taking this little quiz. Go ahead and take this if you're listening to the recording. It's just a fun little thing just to see what, you know, how much you know. The ones you missed, you'll never forget. And then we'll, Christina, when you, yeah, definitely take a look at what you missed. As you're taking this, Christina, let us know what you get. I'm going to go forward with the lecture so we're not sitting here in quiet. We're going to take a look at the logo evolution of 25 famous brands. I think this is fascinating to see the evolution of very recognizable brands that we probably all know very well today and universally know. See where they started and where they're at today. So what a better way to evaluate the effectiveness of logos than to examine how they have evolved in successful and age-old companies. We're going to look at some of the most well-known companies in the world and learn about how their logos have changed over the years, decades, and even centuries. Oh, okay, 55. That's okay. Don't feel bad if you scored, you know, a little lower. That's okay. I think it's cool just to take it and see which ones that you are more familiar with. Some of them are pretty tricky. And some of them are subject-based too. And they obviously, you know, if you're not privy to that brand, you might not know what it is, obviously. So, okay, so this is one. Take a look at this. This logo is what? Shell, right? They're the gas company. Look where they kind of came from, the evolution of the Shell logo. So the Shell gas station brand logo started out in 1900 as a literal inked clamshell drawing, but has gradually become a smooth red and yellow stylized shell. You like the 1995 one. The colors and shape are so distinct, Shell doesn't even write its name on the logo anymore. So you can see the, you like the 1995 one, yeah. So you can see how that has evolved. Kind of crazy. Microsoft is the next one. So in 1992, the Windows 3.1 logo was a literal window with 4 panes and a black frame that broke into tails on one side like a meteor. It remained the same until Windows XP was released in 2001. And the Windows XP logo was minimalized down to just the 4 colored window panes floating with no frame. Distinctly Windows, but much simpler. Kind of cool. Here's the Volkswagen logo. The original Volkswagen logo was 1939. It featured bumped teeth around the circle to make it look like a gear, with long arms rotating around the circle. The arms and gear bumps were eliminated by the time World War II ended, and in 2000, Volkswagen colored the logo blue and silver. Pretty cool. It's neat to see where they kind of evolved. Here's another one, Nike. A single curved line that goes thicker at one end, officially known as the Nike swoosh. Nike used to include its name with the swoosh, but the distinct shape worked on its own. Minimalism at its finest. Here's another one that went way different here. So this is the Mozilla Firefox browser logo. So originally a phoenix with wings outspread to match the program's original name, Phoenix. For legal reasons, the name was changed to Firefox and the logo redrawn as a fiery fox and globe so unique, so no words are necessary. Kind of a little FYI tidbits there. Look at this logo, Pepsi. Look how, what did they look like before the original logos? What would you say that looked like to you in that typeface? Similar to Coke, yep. So Pepsi's original logo was red script on white. Pepsi introduced a red, white, and blue round bottle cap to their design in 1950. They swapped the fancy script for clean black lettering in 1962. The bottle cap stylized into a circle with colored stripes by 1972. And as of 2011, the striped circle stands alone as Pepsi's logo. They actually just redesigned this. Not recently, but let's see, 1998. Geez. I think this was redone what, 4 or 5 years ago, the current logo. But kind of interesting. Look at Walmart. Walmart also evolved. So Walmart in 1962, Walmart began its business with a simple logo that consisted of its brand name and a font that is available to its printer. Over the years, yeah, exactly. The logo remained almost the same except for the use of different fonts and colors. It was until 2008, which was the last time they altered the logo, that Walmart used both caps and small caps to spell its brand name, included its company tagline as well as placed a yellow star-like symbol on the side of its name. Kind of interesting. Look at the one in 1968. Almost looks like a very Southern like a Texan style look to it. Kind of crazy. Same as 1964 too. Out west, yep. Renault is the next one. Their logo began, yep, exactly, yep. Renault's logo began as a medallion with the founder's initials in 1900. The next two logo designs that followed indicated the products they were selling, namely automobiles in 1906 and tanks in 1919. 4 years ago, the logo took a turn for their design and replaced it with a grille that found commonly at the front of a vehicle. It was not until 1925 that Renault adopted the diamond-shaped logo, which we recognize today. In 1946, their signature yellow color is added into the logo. After further modifications over the next half of the century, the latest Renault logo was created in 2007. Here's Siemens, if you've ever heard of them. They used a symbol as its logo since 1899. The symbol was the combined effect of placing the letter S and H together, which were the initials of its founders, Siemens and Halske. It was canned in 1973 after the company was renamed simply as Siemens AG. The latest update in 1991 resulted in cyan-colored Siemens typeface. So Siemens, does anybody know what Siemens is? What company that is? Electric? Yep, electronics. I actually had to look this up because I wasn't quite sure what they did. So it's a leading global German corporation, and it manufactures electronics, electrical engineering, automation, home appliances, and healthcare. I actually had to look that up because I'm not real privy to that. I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly like what they did. So Xerox, I do know Xerox. Everybody knows Xerox, right? I would hope so. The history of Xerox logo began in 1937 when the company was known as the Holoid Company. The name was replaced in 1961 following a highly acclaimed copier they developed, the Holoid Xerox 914. Since then, the Xerox typeface became the only feature of the logo until 2008. This time they put in a red ball-like symbol with the white letter X painted on it, something that might allow people to recognize the company better. You know what, it's so funny, the 1954 one looks almost like the Dos Equis logo. Did you ever see that beer, Dos Equis, the big X? The Xbox, yeah, it does. Yeah. It's funny. Everybody knows what this one is, right? I'm working on one right now. Apple logo was created in 1976, where it features the famous scene of how Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity sitting beneath an apple tree. In the same year, the logo was switched to one of a shape of an apple with rainbow stripes. It was then further simplified into a silhouetted apple image consisting of only black. Since the year 2000, the Apple logo has been recognized as a monochromatic apple. Geez, I remember 1976 when I got I was a baby then, but when I was 7, we got the Apple IIc computer, and that's the logo that was on it, which is kind of funny. Dating myself there. All right, BMW is the next one up. So everybody knows a BMW automobile when they see one, but most of them have no idea what the logo means. Okay, there you go. The trademark blue-white BMW logo is meant to symbolize the movement of an aircraft propeller of white blades cutting through the blue skies. It was first created in 1923, but the logo has pretty much retained its original features, other than a few minor modifications to its fonts and colors. And then we have Canon. So Canon's first logo was indeed very different from what follows over the years. It was a depiction of the Buddhist goddess of mercy sitting on a lotus flower with her thousands of arms and surrounded by flames. It's kind of funny. The next logo in line only retained its Kawanan brand name, Kawanan, using unique typefaces. And then by 1935, Canon's logo was changed to that of Canon. That logo was progressively refined until 1957 when it becomes the logo we see today. It's kind of crazy, that first one. It's so funny to see the first ones that are very over ornate, like a lot of detail, and then it goes to the most simplest form. Coca-Cola, here we go. This is a long history of, there's a long history of logo for them, beginning from 1886. Contrary to popular beliefs, Coca-Cola's first logo was not the script logo we see today, but appeared instead as a dull-looking black font spelling out his name. It was only after that year that Coca-Cola began to use its famous Spencerian script, which we can recognize at first instance pretty much today. Over the next century, there were many variations of its logos. All the logos retained its script except the one in 1985. 1990s. Yep, sometimes they go back to the retro, the retro too. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Some companies go right back to retro sometimes. Even Pepsi's done that before too, I've noticed. Okay, here's Fiat. Technically speaking, Fiat's first logo was an unappealing brown leather parch where the company letters were written on. It was only 2 years later, in 1901, that Fiat came up with a proper logo which spelled out its brand name on a blue emblem. There were many changes to logos, but its characteristic letter A is present in every one except for the one in 1968. See that little dip in the A there kind of makes it a little different. I guess the ascender. I forget what that's called. It's not the ascender. The cap, maybe that's the cap. Go back to my typography descriptions there. IBM is the next one. Look at this one. This has changed a lot. The merging of two companies. So you have two companies here merging together. International Time Recording Company and Computing Scale Company resulted in the first official IBM logo in 1911. It was not until 1947 that IBM created its well-known typeface logo. After a little modification in 1956 and another final change in 1972, IBM finally settled down with its current blue horizontally striped logo. Everybody knows this one, hopefully, Lego. I know I play with these all the time, and I still do today. Step on them every now and then. My 5-year-old. As with some companies' first logo, the logo of Lego began with a straightforward wording with no particular design. It was simply blank fonts italicized. The logo gradually moves forward, one with a red background, and the end result was white fonts against a bright red backdrop. The next one is LG. Other than its company tagline, Life's Good, LG is also an abbreviation of its 2 previous companies' prior merger, Lucky and Gold Star. By 1995, Lucky Gold Star changed its name to LG Electronics with its current trademark logo. Some interesting facts for sure. MasterCard. That used to be recognized as an interbank federation in 1966, hence its first logo. Subsequently, it's adopted its prominent 2 overlapping red and orange circles and the name Master in the 1990s. The colors of the circles were made brighter and hence more visible. There were no updates to the logo by far since 1996. Next one, Mazda. So Mazda's first logo in 1934 was a simple yet stylish typeface of its brand name. 2 years later, Mazda altered its logo to that of a triple M, made to make like a wing to signify its ability to reach new peaks. The logos that follow next were all enclosed by a circle and oval, with the latest one in 1997 bearing some resemblance to the winged logo in 1936. Pretty cool. Mercedes. MasterCard, yeah. It's crazy how they kept it that long. The 3-pointed star symbol was only incorporated onto the Mercedes-Benz logo in 1909 after 2 previous logos. In 1933, a circle was included, but that enclosed the star. Then the logo pretty much remained the same as the one we identified today. MGM has a creative way of captivating its audience with this logo through its use of an actual lion roaring. Over the years, as filming technology improves, we see gradual change in the quality of its logo, which is shown to the audience before any MGM movie begins. If you notice, the lion used in each logo is different, but the background and everything else stays the same in all these years. You're talking about the Mercedes? Or all of them? Yeah, I think it's because, I mean, think about, I mean, this is over 100 years ago, too. Some of them are maybe not quite 100 years, but close to it. So you have that with companies merging together, changing names, that has something to do with it. Some just evolve with trends. But the fact that the company is so recognizable today, all these that we're showing, means that they successfully evolved their logos for the most part. Some of them haven't really changed very much, like this one, Mitsubishi. The first logo of Mitsubishi was derived from a combination of 2 age-old Japanese family crests in 1875. I mean, that was a long time ago. The logo was strengthened with the thickening each of the 3 individual diamonds in 1964. The latest logo update has Mitsubishi spelling out its name brand, including its tagline. So 1875. Oh, it's actually a person? Yep. It's a family crest. Yep. Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. You guys, I don't think that these people are around anymore. Palm, remember Palm Pilots? I don't know if they're around still. Palm was founded not too long ago in 1992 when it used to be known as Palm Computing. The logo, yeah, was simple. It was a simple dotted P on 5 horizontal lines. The logo soon changed in 2000 when the company was split into two. The logo is what most of us are familiar with, a circle, shiny blue button with Palm printed on it. Further conflicts in the companies produced 2 modifications of the logo until it's now a circular orange palm logo. It's funny. Palm Pilots, I remember those. Pigot. So pretty much this one remained pretty consistent for about 1/2 of a century. Beginning in 1850, the Pigot lion was present in all of its different logos to date. Although in 1960 and 1965, the logo only features the head of the lion instead of the whole body. The lion was there. The most significant change was the addition of the blue background to the logo in 1998. Yep. Kind of crazy. So that's pretty much the evolution of 25 brands that we know today, or most of. So it's just neat to see where they came from and how they've evolved. And most of them, you know, there was at least one consistent element that came through the whole way. But yeah, definitely see the changes. Yeah. You can see how it goes from really like the original logos you can see the trend of them being real ornate or very ornamental to very simple now, the current logo. So think about that. You know, a lot of companies are going with the trends of the simplicity part, making it more efficient, cost effective. Think about that. You know, a lot of people are trying to save money now, and so, you know, obviously there's excluding brands out there that are more expensive and affluent brands, but, you know, people are trying to get to simplifying their brands and their logos to the most simplest form without being boring. That's pretty much the change there. All right, let's take a look at some interesting facts behind some of the logos. There's Amazon. Does everybody know what the swoosh means there with the arrow there? I actually just returned something to Amazon today. Prime. You might think that the arrow does nothing here, but it says that Amazon.com has everything from A to Z, and it also represents the smile brought to the customer's face. Yep, you got it. Yeah, you're good. Yep, that's exactly what that means. Very simple, A to Z. What about this one? Do you know what the 3 stripes on the Adidas logo mean or represent? Take a guess. All right, I'll give this one to you. So this represents a mountain. Oh, you're fine. So it represents a mountain pointing out towards the challenges that are seen ahead and goals that can be achieved. So if you ever see that logo, that's what those 3 lines represent. This one, you might not know what this one is. Yeah, very cool. This is for a company called Body Wisdom. And then this logo, yeah, comprises 2 hands wide open and striking to each other. And at the same time, there are 2 white circles in between. These circles look something like owl's eyes. The spa center is represented with hands, which basically play an important role at a spa, as do the massage. The owl's eyes here represent wisdom, which relates to the name of the company itself. Does anybody know what Apple logo representation of the bite taken out means? and what the apple represents. Bite into technology. Good guess. So the apple in this logo is taken from the Bible story of Adam and Eve, where the apple represents the fruit of tree of knowledge, with a pun on bite, B-I-T-E, meaning B-Y-T-E. Megabytes. Kind of cool. There you go. Mercedes-Benz, the star in the 3 corners on their logo represents the Mercedes brand's dominance on land, sea, and the air. Did you know that? So land, sea, and air. Those 3 arrows represent that. Forkwire, you might not know about this brand. They're an online food delivery service, includes a combination of, well, they might. This is an online food delivery service, includes a combination of the internet key at the key at with fork in it, representing food, as well as the first half of the name, so fork, making the utilization of technology in a food delivery very clear and obvious for the customers. Also, white writing on a red background is very catchy enough for the customer and gives an elegant look to the logo. FedEx, we all know what's going on here, right? Yeah, I know, it is crazy. It's been exploding. So yeah, so this is FedEx, the arrow. Did you ever notice that the hidden arrow? So the arrow that you see between the E and the X in this logo, the arrow was introduced to the underscore speed and precision, which are part of the positioning of the company. There you go, Tara. Yep, you're right. What about this logo? Baskin Robbins. We all know what that's showing there, right? That's actually their old logo. 31 flavors, yep, you got it, with an arc above it. The new logo took this idea to the next level. The pink parts of the BR still form the number 31, a reference to the 31 flavors. This one is called Carrefour, is one of the biggest European retailers, and it's also French for crossroads. The logo symbolizes this word via 2 opposite arrows. They also added the first letter of the name, because if you look closely, you'll see the letter C in the negative space between the 2 arrows. C-A-R-R-E-F-O-U-R. I'll just spell it in the type there. That's the company, that's their name. What about Formula One? At first, this logo might not make much sense, but if you look closely, you'll see the number 1 in the negative space between the F and the red stripes. I also love how this logo communicates a feeling of speed. NBC. The NBC, which is National Broadcasting Company, is one of the biggest American television networks. And I think most of you have already seen this peacock, the peacock in the logo. The peacock has 6 different tail feathers, referring to the 6 divisions at the time that the logo was created. The peacock's head is flipped to the right to suggest it was looking forward, not back. Christina. There you go. Yeah, the NBC logo is very good. Sony VO is well-known brand of laptops, but did you know that the name VO logo also had a hidden meaning? The first 2 letters represent the basic analog signal. The last 2 letters look like a 1 and a 0, representing this digital signal. Pretty cool, but it spells out VO. What about this one, Taberlone? You guys ever eat this candy, chocolate yummy candy from Switzerland? The Bern is sometimes called the city of bears. They haven't incorporated this idea into the logo because if you look closely, you'll see the silhouette of a bear. Very good chocolate. Yep, in the mountain. Unilever is one of the biggest producers of food, beverages, cleaning agents, and personal care products. They produce a large amount of different products, and they want to reflect this in their logo. Each part of the logo has a meaning. For example, the heart represents love, care, and health. Feeling good, a bird is a symbol of freedom, relief from daily chores, getting more out of life. Unilever. Sun Microsystems logo is a wonderful example of symmetry and order. It was a brilliant observation that the letters U and N, while arranged adjacent to each other, look a lot like the letter S in a perpendicular direction. Yes, you did. So the U and the N make that S look of the S too. So it's kind of cool how that all kind of comes together. This one is Clunatic. This logo was created for a puzzle game called Clunatic. This game involves unraveling 4 clues. The logo has the letters C, L, U, and E arranged as a maze. And from a distance, the logo looks like a key. So if you like squint your eyes, it looks like a key, which is kind of cool. All right, so that's pretty much some interesting background behind some of these logos I thought you guys would find interesting. All right. You're welcome. Yeah, so we went over, and Christina, you came in a little late. We just kind of went over, you know, just your assessment, what to look at, your reading and video notes for assessment 3 quiz. Just kind of read up on the articles. The first article is about, it talks about ineffective and effective digital identity, you know, what makes it ineffective, what makes it effective. So definitely check that out in the readings and videos. Just go down to week 3 and right here. That's what I kind of pointed out to definitely check out. It's right. Well, you know, whatever works for you, right? So that's your assessment 3. Your assignment 3 that we just ended here, I went over for the most part on Monday. Let me know if you have any questions. We just talked about the sketches. When you get to the point where you're actually doing the design roughs, you're going to pick 3 like you did last week. When you get to that point, you're going to go basically to the computer. So just go to Illustrator and kind of do those steps. I just wanted to show you quickly here how I created this logo. You might want to do something like this where you can fit all of them on a page, as long as you can see them, yes. The sketches don't have to be in squares, no. They can be freeform if you want. These are just some art boards that I shared with you the last time we met up that you might want to play around with, and I just wanted to show you really quickly. Again, and we talked about the Pathfinder tool and the Shape Builder tool, and I just wanted to show you quickly how I created this one. So you can kind of play around with the simple shapes here. So for this one, all I did, those are good questions, by the way. So yeah, you can fit all 15 sketches on one page as long as you can view them. You know, if they're hard to see, obviously you may want to use a couple pages or one page. And then you don't have to have your thumbnails in squares as I showed on Monday. They can be free form, like I said, completely up to you. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my circle tool, because that's how I started this logo here, just a simple shape. And I'm representing the A and the B. I'm kind of getting the B out of here. Maybe even just drawing a line in here. Yes, they have to be different. Yep, they should be. Because why just do, you know, I think the 3 that you're choosing to should be different, obviously, different concepts, so that you can come up with the best. If you're using, oh, separated. Yep, yeah, there was space in between, like white space. All right, so I just used the ellipse tool. I hold the shift key down to make it symmetrical. And then I'm gonna go to the start tool to make my triangle shape. I'm just gonna click one time on my artboard, and I'm gonna choose 3 here and click OK. I'm gonna fill it with white, and then I'm gonna go rotate it. But I'm gonna rotate it using my rotate tool up here. Let's see, in my scale, just select R. You can select R or go to the rotate tool. Just double click on it if you want this panel to come up, and just put 180. This is kind of what I did to rotate that 180 degrees. And there you go. Now I'm gonna make this bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead back into my rotate area, or just choose S on your keyboard. And I'm gonna make this 140. Actually, let's just leave it at that, 140% bigger. And I'm gonna align this. So I'm gonna bring up my align tool, panel box, make sure it's centered. And I left a little bit of space up here, color space. I'm gonna take my direct selection tool. I'm gonna select this point and hold the shift key and select this point as well as this point. And I'm gonna push down on my arrow tool just to get those. Oh, I have to do it to the other ones too. Sorry, guys. Undo, 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 undo. Redo. Okay, we're gonna have to do some shifting here too. Pull this down. Pull that over. Okay, so then I'm gonna select my background and then my triangle together. So hold that shift key down, go to the shape builder tool, which is, where's my, oh, right here. What's the shortcut key for this? Shift and M, there we go. And I'm just gonna drag down and click down below. I'm gonna choose this bottom part of the triangle and then the top part, and it's gonna cut that out. So all I need to do is take my direct selection tool and just select it and delete it. So it's just this shape here is left. And then I'm gonna go back to, now it's important that you have the direct selection tool selected. If you have the move tool, it's gonna delete the whole thing. The direct selection tool will just only select this shape that you cut out and hit the delete key to delete that part. Okay, so then I'm gonna go back and create another shape. Just another circle that's gonna be part of my B. So I'll hold down the shift key. Oops, let me do this bigger. A little bigger. And again, you can align these so they're centered. And if I wanted to, you know, kind of give off a little bit, you know, it's really abstract here. You know, if I wanted to, okay, let's represent this B a little bit better with maybe a line that would kind of connect with that. You could do that too, or, you know, I can do that too to maybe make it look like a B. It's going to be abstract, but do something like this. And try it. And then in the properties box, let's see here, where is my, let me get my stroke box up here. Yep. There's my stroke, it's hide behind here. If I hold down show options, I can make this cap instead of, see how it's kind of sharp, it's just like flat on one end. I can actually make this rounded if I wanted to on both ends. If I really wanted to keep up with the sharpness of this part, I can definitely do something there too. The only thing is I probably would have to create it. Oops. Let's see. Actually, I could use the width tool. So using the width tool, I can make that sharper at the top. And then I would align this maybe more to this point. Yeah. So A and then a B would be like a little bit more, you know, it would make more sense with that. And then I can go in and change the color if I want. Let's see, it's color. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think it's, you know, as long as you know the fundamentals, there's so much more you can learn from that. But as long as you can, you know, you learn the fundamentals, you go from there. Then you could kind of play around with it. Might be cool to do something like that and play around with the bottom part. See different things that you can do. That's kind of cool. There you go. Yeah, just play around with it. Have fun. And then, you know, with this, obviously, I don't know who this is. So I would add my name. And then I would choose a typeface that unifies. This is what's really important. The typeface will make or break your logo. So it's super important to use a typeface that is appropriate, easy to read, but it also unifies with your mark. So this mark, I would say, is very neutral. You have an organic part of it, but then you also have some sharp edges. It's very trendy looking. So I wouldn't use like a script for this. I would use maybe something more, you know, almost like a sans serif that would unify and have the same look that this would have. So I wouldn't do that, obviously. So go through your fonts. If you don't have anything in here, definitely look up some if you need to download any. And just kind of explore and experiment. I have a lot of fonts on my system. Make sure it makes sense for your, and I'm doing all lowercase here just to play around with that. What does it look like in all uppercase? What does it look like in all lowercase? You know, those are the things that you need to be exploring. Kind of is cool. That was always a font that I liked. The BBOS. Very, very strong yet condensed font. You might even want to pick one that has a font family. Like Universe has a lot of different font families to it, like condensed, bold, so you can kind of play around with maybe that. This one's actually kind of cool. Century Gothic, and it has a font family, I believe. Okay, you might even want to just, you know, I had it where I just put this design, you know, very simple. You can even put the .com, you know, if you want to make it part of the name. Kind of keep it simple. I would balance this mark out so it's not so big compared to this. A lot of people think that the mark has to be huge. It doesn't have to be huge. It shouldn't be. Let's actually go a little bit smaller here. More ideas. There you go. Good. Alignment. See how that kind of balances now? The name is a little bit bigger. Obviously, let's make this gray. And then maybe the type here becomes that green. Play around with that. See what that looks like. And then test it out. Does it look good sideways? You know, if I couldn't do it vertically like this all the time, what would this look like as a horizontal logo? Maybe in this case, it gets a little smaller. Let's do 60%. Yeah, more of a horizontal. Okay, yeah, I mean, you can kind of play around with the name. Also test it out on a dark background, so go ahead and, I wouldn't use this as part of the logo. I'm just gonna show you, a square to represent like a darker background, so don't think that this is part of the logo at all. But how would this look on a dark background? Kind of like what you guys did before. Test it out. Change things that need to be changed. This actually isn't too bad on a dark background. Maybe you're just going to do a word mark and you're going to keep it simple. Oops. You know, something very simple like this. Oh, okay, good, Tara. It's very good. You know, and maybe in this regards, let me do create outlines. Let me just taking out certain parts of this. You know, you can kind of keep it simple. Maybe we'll do I'm kind of just on the fly here. Sorry, guys. Thinking about, let's see, let me do a line here. A little thin line. Do a thinner line. Of course, I can't pick this up. If you do any type of rotation, just make sure you don't rotate it too far where it's unreadable. Usually, you know, it's a very simple rotation that you want. If it's too far up, it's going to be hard to read, but you can, you know, kind of play around with it, play around with the shape. I did all small letters, try all big letters, you know, play around with different fonts. This one, I like this font right here. It's a very strong, very symmetrical font. So you can do all capital letters and play around with that. Maybe just simple shapes that you're playing with. You know, obviously that is, that definitely can work. Keeping this more symmetrical. Have fun and explore, definitely. Okay, but keep it simple. Have fun with the typeface. Use your keywords that you are coming up with, your adjectives. If you do an adjective list, use that to your advantage for picking out your typography. And, you know, just have fun with it. Try a word mark. Try an abstract, you know, doing a monogram or a symbol mark with your name, something very simple. You know, kind of play around with those different types of logo marks. Because you might find something really interesting that you might not have thought about before. Okay, no problem. Yep, if you missed anything, that's why the recordings are there for you guys to listen to if you missed anything. One of the design courses, we had to make a bear and a butterfly out of shapes. Oh, cool. What are the guidelines about adjectives? Not really anything. You don't even have to show your adjective list. I would just come up with adjectives that are, you know, describe who you are as a designer, or how you want to be represented as a firm, or whatever your brand is, who your brand is. I mean, you could write a whole page of adjectives. I would highly suggest that, you know, try to come up and look on, if you run out of ideas, go to thesaurus, write in those adjectives, come up with more adjectives, highlight the ones that you think, you know, are giving you inspiration. Okay, any other questions? Hopefully get you guys started, and as we go into week 4, I'll go over all the other details of setting this up for presentation. In the meantime, I'm gonna just kind of give you guys this time to share anything you're working on, get some extra feedback. Like I said, this might be a shorter lecture depending upon what you guys have. And oh, okay. Did you want to share it now and then we could talk about it? Okay. Whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever you can show right now, whatever's good for you. Okay. I remember because I had a little needle in the background, Christina. I had made mention to that. Yep. Are you gonna attach it to the chat here, or what do you want me to open it up? You let me know. I think I'd have to dig around my emails here. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Wait a second. Thought I found it. Okay, good. Thank you. I was trying to find this. I know I have it somewhere in my email. Is this what it looks like? Okay, yeah, you did change the color. Okay. Can you guys see that? Okay, good. hmm So now that you're seeing that in a darker color, you know what to change, right? Probably the black probably needs to be a little bit lighter if you do it on a dark color. So that's kind of a good test here. Okay, so I think the first thing that I had mentioned when you sent this that you didn't get the email that I responded for some reason is the needle in the background. I would just take that off completely. I think that's hard to see, first off. I think it'll be really hard to see once you start applying it to other things. And I don't think it really unifies with anything in your logo, it kind of just stands out as a separate, yeah. That's something that you can definitely get into more detail as you have your identity system set up, so you can explain to people what your business is all about. You don't have to put everything in your logo, I guess is what I'm saying here. Um, you can even use a tagline in here, Christina, if you really want to say something about what specific things that you do, you know, just a quick, and I wouldn't go crazy, just like 3 words or less. Another thing I would probably change, instead of designs, I would probably take the Z out and just keep it very simple to design. Mornings. Usually whenever you have a firm of your own, you don't really pluralize it. You just make it like a single word design. That's a simple change there. I almost wish Morningstar was the more decorative typeface than design. I almost wish, almost like they were switched. And design was more of the sans serif typeface, and Morningstar aligned more with the flourishy butterfly look. Does that make sense? I don't think so. I think it all depends on what you're going for, your target audience. You know, if you're primarily focused on targeting people in the more religious sector, I don't think that would be a bad thing. So, you know, just going into the 101 free fonts and typing in Morningstar, there's some fonts that might align a little bit better with your logo that you might want to do. And then design would be the more sans serif typeface. This one would work well. This is actually kind of cool. So you might want to check out some of these fonts too and just kind of play around with what you see. You can even click on script typefaces here to get more of script typefaces in the name here. And then choose one that you think works well with that butterfly that you did. Some of these definitely wouldn't work as well, or maybe it's harder to read. Make sure it's easy to read. There's some really cool ones in here you can check out. Just kind of explore, see what else is out there. Yeah. Well, you need to know what you're all about, what you want to represent. This is actually a cool one here too, the Sweet Hipster one. That would look really cool with that. Let's bring up your thing here. I'm going to share my whole desktop so you guys can see everything. Like if Morningstar was in this type of typeface, this kind of goes with like the flourishy part of your butterfly. And then whatever font you use, Morningstar, make that in that sans serif typeface. That'd be kind of cool. See what the letters look like. Obviously, this isn't showing you what Morning Star would be. It just says Sweet Hipster. But yeah, play around with it. And then play around with the orientation of your butterfly. You know, maybe it looks better if it's centered or somewhere else around there. Play around with the orientation. But you definitely have a great start. Just a few things to kind of push it a little bit further. Exploring different typefaces, making that, you know, single word design. Play around with, you know, all lowercase. Maybe the design becomes all uppercase and the name becomes all lowercase. And you can even put that in here, like all lowercase letters, just to see what that looks like. Some of these will show, some of them won't. You know, maybe that's something that you don't want to do, but, you know, explore it and see what it, you know, see how it looks. You might not want to go that route, but at least you know, you can see if it makes more sense. It's more, maybe it's more balanced, maybe not. I actually kind of like the upper and lower case that we had before. I think that would work a little bit better, but, you know, just kind of playing around with that. That's what you do when you're, you know, looking at designs. And good job though. Any other questions? Tabara, you don't have anything to show other than, yep. All right, very cool. All right, well, just push forward with what you have. Just have scribblings, that's okay. You get inspired by what you saw today, hopefully, and you know, hopefully some of the things that we talked about and what I showed you in Illustrator will help you kind of explore different ideas. All right, guys, that's pretty much where I have you. I've kind of left it all wide open. I wasn't sure how many people were going to come in here and share their work, so you need to think outside the box. Oh, good, Christina, good. Yeah, you guys can definitely, yeah, I would definitely encourage you guys to, you know, be in contact with each other. Hold on, my dog's barking. Hold on one second, guys. All right, he does. He heard somebody coming to the door. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna wrap it up. If you don't have any other questions, we'll just call it a class, and Tamara, you get your headache taken care of, and I'll see you guys on the discussion board. Thank you, Christina. Thanks for sharing your work. Good, that's awesome. All right, guys, I will be talking to you soon. Have a great day. All right, see you later.